So this week I went out and got something pretty cool. This. Let's talk. A couple of days ago I was looking at my current camera gear and started thinking about how I have two cameras that are just completely gathering dust that could instead be out there for someone to use and get who needs a beginner camera. So I grabbed my old Sony a6400 and my Nikon D3400 and took them to my local camera shop to see what sort of a price I could get for them. And while the price wasn't all that earth-shattering, it was still, to be honest, better than I expected. And what it actually made possible was that combined, I was able to get something that I could actually find a proper use for. And that is this. This is a Lumix GH5. And it is a true workhorse for any sort of video work. And it's not bad for photography either. I mean, just listen to some of these specs. It has a fully articulating screen. It has 5-axis in-body image stabilization. It has 4K 30 FPS at 10-bit 422. And it can do 4K 60, though that is at 8-bit. It can do 1080p at 120 frames per second. It has double SD card slots. It has a microphone and headphone port. And it has a full-sized HDMI port with clean HDMI out. And while those specs are definitely great, it has some pretty nice photography features as well. So it's running a 20 megapixel micro four thirds sensor. It is completely weather sealed. It has a huge EVF. It has great ergonomics, and it has focus stacking as well as a high resolution mode. So those are some pretty great specs for something that I got for an a6000 and a D3400. Sure, I could have gotten more if I sold them like myself, but just selling them to a camera shop made it so much easier, and it got me more off of this. So I'm definitely happy with that trade. Sure, it's in no means like a super modern camera or the almighty in terms of specs, but for the price and those specs, I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this camera. And you can definitely bet that I'm going to be doing a fully fledged review on this, but I'm gonna need a lot more time with the camera and possibly a few more lenses to test out. From the little amount of testing that I've done so far, I'm absolutely in love with the body. Sure, it's big, but it actually gives you a proper grip so that, I mean, it just feels so good to hold. There's a lot of I/O that just, you have access to everything that you need. Coming from a Sony APS-C body, this is definitely welcome. The photos that it produces are, from the few that I've taken so far, absolutely fantastic. That is generally true for almost any camera out there today, if you just pair it with a good lens and you know how to use it. And speaking of lenses, I chose to get started with the Lumix 25mm f1.7. So, because it's a micro four thirds sensor that's multiplied by 2, so this is essentially a nifty 50, because 25 times 2, you know, full frame equivalent, it's a 50mm. And the video quality is fantastic. That 10-bit 422, I'm sure that I would say if I actually were using the paid version of DaVinci Resolve to be able to actually access that 10-bit video file. So far, haven't been able to do that. Hopefully soon. But the 8-bit that I have been able to look at is fantastic. One downside, there is no vlog, because this is one of those dark times in the camera world where a manufacturer wanted to charge you separately for the vlog update. and that's still going on today. It costs $100 to get Vlog into this camera. And it's not even full Vlog, it's Vlog L, the limited version. Really, Lumix? Really? But despite that, I feel like I'm going to have a lot of fun with this camera, and I'm going to be using it a lot. Of course, I'm going to be shooting at least a couple of videos on it, but not with this lens though. Not with a 50mm. Anyway, first Micro Four Thirds sensor, and it is insane in terms of features and the price that I got for it. I couldn't be more pumped. So I'm gonna go now and take some more photos. So bye.